Welcome to the Anxiety Attic, where I make self-help videos for anxiety disorders. I've made many videos about what to do if you're worrying about getting ill, or what to do if you're worrying that your anxiety symptoms are a sign of serious illness. But some of my subscribers have asked, what about worrying if you've actually got a real illness, like a long-term condition? Now, we're not talking about terminal illnesses here. We're talking about conditions that are long-term but are not life-threatening. Now, these would be conditions like IBS, IBD, fibromyalgia, ectopic heartbeats, sleep apnea, gastritis, and many other conditions that millions of people live with. I'm 52, and like a lot of people my age, I've acquired a number of non-serious health conditions like IBS, sleep apnea, and ectopic heartbeats. Now, I manage all these conditions very well, and they don't bother me and I don't worry about them. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to pretend that I'm really worried about my IBS symptoms. And that's actually not that hard for me to do. Because before I was diagnosed, IBS caused me extreme pain, and it got so bad that I stopped eating and lost a lot of weight, and I was extremely worried. I'm going to use a health anxiety thought record, which you may have seen before in my previous videos. If you want to use this form yourself, you can get it from the Get Self-Help website. I'll put a link in the description below. This is the health anxiety thought record. In the first column, you fill in information about the situation. What was happening, what were you doing, where, when, etc. Now, these IBS cramps typically start within about an hour after eating. So I write, I was watching TV after dinner. In the next column, you write, what was the trigger for the health anxiety? What physical sensations or symptoms did you have? So, I had a severe cramp in my stomach. So I write that in the second column. In the third column, you rate the intensity of the anxiety that you feel. Now, I'm really used to these cramps, so I don't feel anxious, but let's just say that I did. So I'm going to write 85%. In the next column, you write any unhelpful thoughts or images that came into your mind. Then, how much do you believe that thought? Rate it from 0 to 100. And how much are you focusing on your body? Again, rate it from 0 to 100. So I wrote, I had the thought that the doctor may be wrong about his diagnosis of IBS. What if it's stomach cancer? Although I'm not completely convinced about that, I do rate it at 70%. And I focus more on my body, which I'm going to rate at 80%. The next column is behaviour. What did you do? Did you seek reassurance? Let's say that I sought reassurance on Google. Let's actually have a look at what happens when you go onto Google and look up these symptoms. So if I put into Google, are stomach cramps a sign of cancer? What do I see? Big bold letters, abdominal discomfort or pain in the abdomen above the navel, which my pains usually are, may be a symptom of a stomach tumour. Now, if I suffered from health anxiety, this would send me into an absolute panic, and it shows just how dangerous Google can be for people with health anxiety. Now let's return to the health anxiety thought record. Clearly my behaviour has made me feel worse, but the next column, alternative response, will help. What would be a more rational and balanced perspective? Is there another way of looking at this? How much do you believe this different perspective? Rate it from 0 to 100. Well, I would write, I've had these cramps for many years. It's just IBS. I ate cookies last night, and I know that wheat triggers my IBS. And deep down, I know this is IBS, so I'll rate my belief 95%. The final column is outcome. Here we re-rate our anxiety and note what was helpful. This exercise has brought my anxiety down to 10%. And I note that reminding myself that I've had these symptoms for many years was really useful. Let's also see what lessons we can learn. What are the consequences of acting in this way? What will help most? What would be the best thing for me to do and for this situation? Well, clearly I've learned that going onto Google would make things a lot worse. Reminding myself that I've had these symptoms for a long time certainly helped. And in the future, I need to stay away from Google and just remind myself that this is just IBS. The purpose of this exercise is not to ignore or deny your health condition, but to try and put it into context. Anxiety can exacerbate a lot of health conditions, so you might find that this exercise will actually reduce your symptoms. If you are anxious about an existing health condition, I hope this video has helped you. If you'd like to see more of my videos on health anxiety, check out my health anxiety playlist, which you'll find here.